Good evening and welcome to Moments with Mama Sue. I'm Mama Sue Roseberry, and it is the best thing ever to get to spend some time with you. So I am delighted. I get ready for y'all in advance. I try to sprunch up and get myself together because it is the best thing ever to get to spend some time with you. We're giving a shout out to all of you who are watching us in real time. And then, of course, we want to shout out to all of those persons who watch us in replay because that's important too. I love it. Now, what we need you to do is go ahead and like and share the broadcast. Let somebody else know that Moments with Mama Sue is on the air and that we're delighted to get to see them and interact with them. Now, tonight I want to give you just a few announcements before we get too far in so that you will know kind of some of the things that are going on. We want you to continue to order Miss Annie from Way Down South. That's my children's book. It is full color. It is both in English and in Spanish, and that rhythmic story is so wonderful to encourage children to listen for rhyming patterns and to just have fun with the whole reading process. Now, when you order the book, you can also download the files that have me singing the song, and there's the version for your children to sing along with. So it's great fun. And if you order via my website, you can even download the coloring book, Miss Annie from Way Down South, and your little darlings can color to their heart's content. So we want you to get that today via my website at www.sueroseberry.com. And then, of course, we want you to be sure if you are having something and you would like to have me to be a part of it, gosh, I'd love to be a part of it. Call me, and let's make it happen. You can find me on all of the social media platforms. And of course, if you go to my Mama Sue Roseberry Facebook page, you can send me a direct message there, or on Instagram, you can find me at Sue Roseberry, send a direct message, call me, and let's make it happen. There's so much going on. Let me tell you, I am so excited because the month of February, is Black History Month. So we're giving a shout out to everyone because this is just the time that we put some additional emphasis on the wonderful things that our culture represents in our world, not just in our country, but in the world. We are grateful for the contributions of African Americans, and we'll be talking a little bit more about it on our next broadcast. But suffice to say that we want you to think about it and celebrate the wonderful diversity that we bring to the world. Our history is American history. So when you talk about the Black experience and the journey that we've been on, that is what it's all about. And we want to remind you that in just a few short days, the Midland Storytelling Festival will be having an event in collaboration with the Museum of the Southwest, where we will be featuring storytelling in 3 ways. So put it on your calendar to be with us for February the 19th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you want more information about that, go to my Facebook page and I will have notices posted there as well as on the Midland Storytelling Festival page. Now then, let's get to the matter that is most important for this evening. I had this young lady scheduled to be with us on last month, and due to a conflict, she wasn't able to make it. But hey, and yay, she gets to be with us on tonight. So I have as my special guest Miss Ereka Howard. She is a dear, dear young woman to me. She is a motivational speaker. She is also very heavily connected with helping young people to find their forever homes. And I will let her tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. She is a life coach, and she is decidedly different and bringing a fresh slant to life and so many things. So I want you all to join me in welcoming tonight's guest, Miss Ereka Howard. Hey, Ereka! Ereka, tell the people where you live. Where do you live?
Okay, so I currently live in Dallas, Texas.
She lives in the Dallas Metroplex, but
Cowboys.
even though you live in Dallas, tell them where you are from because we putting it on the map.
Midland, Texas. My temperature got it right.
She is from Midland, Texas. And that's where I know her from. She's grown up. I've known her all her life. And now she's this beautiful young woman who is moving and changing the world. But Ereka, tell us a little bit. How do you describe yourself? Who is Ereka Howard?
A very, all in a nutshell, there's like, so you look at your hand and there's like different fingers, right? So that's me, but in a nutshell, like I would want to say I'm determined, I'm motivated, I am, there's a plethora. That's like an open question, actually. That's a question that's like never ending. But I'm a very determined person, I guess to say the least.
Okay, well, she's determined, but we also know that Ereka has gone on to get her certification to be a life coach.
Yes,
What in the world made you decide to do that?
life. So life in general, like it says literally life coach. And so breaking that down, like that's the reason why, going through the different struggles and things that I've been through in life motivated to become a life coach because I truly believe like if you're going to be a life coach, you have to have been able to coach your own life. So that's exactly what I've done. And I have a master's in counseling, and um, it's just something that I have a passion for, really, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Well, when did this passion kind of develop? Because, like I said, I've been knowing you most of your life, but what do you feel like set you up to be on the path that you're on in your career?
So, in general, when I was living in Austin, maybe about 10 years ago, there was a lady who came to Austin Community College and she was passing out her pamphlets. And on her pamphlets, it said life coach. And I was like, man, I want to be like that one day. And then I ended up going and getting my master's. And I found out that you can be, well, you don't necessarily need a master's to be a life coach, but to have the different things that I like studied, I think that makes you a more marketable person in like the realm of life coaching. But that's what really, really like motivated me to become a life coach because I always kind of had that dream of life coach, helping somebody get through those trials and tribulations of life. And that comes from a faith background, but also coming from like a secular world, if I could say that world. But there are people that come from different walks of life, not just spirituality, but just different walks of life, and that really truly like motivated me to become a life coach. Yeah.
Well, Ereka, you were mentioning also that you have your counseling degree. So now all of those things coupled together is what you use when you are trying to motivate young people and even in your career job. Tell us a
Okay.
little bit about what you do on the daily that is so special and so unique.
So the root I feel like is I came from foster care and I genuinely love that particular background. And so right now, I actually work with children in foster care and adoption. And so I'm able to kind of help them understand like the different dynamics of the trauma, trauma informed care. Some of them have been through trauma relating all the way back from like maybe they were an infant, or maybe they were teenagers, or maybe they were young adults. And so we provide residential care for them while they are in transition, and then kind of provide therapy for them if they are in crisis. Sometimes it's like a 12 day program all the way up to like a 90-day. It really just depends on how long they need to be somewhere in order to transition them out of the system. Or so I work with kids just like I was and where I came from, and it is very like it's very rewarding, to say the least. It's very rewarding. Yeah.
That Mike, you have used your life experience to help you to be able to describe what these young people are going through. How has the response to you been from the clients that you're able to support?
So there was a particular client today, and I'm not always able to relate to them because some of the things that they really genuinely experienced, whether that was some really hardcore trauma, but I've heard from them that, Miss, you helped me believe in myself, because knowing that you came from foster care and that you were adopted, that helps me to really know and believe that I can make it. Because if you can make it, I can make it. And so it always helps to have somebody to be able to relate, and that comes from that, I don't want to say broken family, but challenging background that has placed them in that area. So that's what really kind of some of the things. And plus, I probably look like them uh, without the jacket, so they can feel like they can trust and relate with somebody. So, yeah.
Wow, it's amazing because knowing your background and what you've been through, you are a shining example and a success story for so many. For those of you who are just tuning in with us, we're talking with Miss Ereka Howard, who is a life coach and she's a motivational speaker. She is a champion of children who need a voice, who need somebody to help them to understand how to navigate this life, having been a product of foster care and then going on to be such a success story. Hold on, and we'll be back with Ereka in just a moment, right after this message. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Miss Annie from way down south. She's loud, she's fun, but you'd better watch out. Put on your seatbelt and take the rollicking ride with the unpredictable Miss Annie as she whips and turns and drives straight into your heart. Own it today at www.sueroseberry.com. If you're just joining us, I told you my special guest today is Miss Ereka Howard. Ereka, you've been telling us a lot about your motivational speaking, but what is your little catchphrase that I saw on your website? Because you talk about being different. Tell us about that and that motivation.
So when I was a child, my mother always told me, she said, sweetheart, she would say sweetheart, but she said, baby, she said, you are different. You can't be like everybody else. You can't do what everybody else do. You can't compare yourself to what other people are doing, whether that was hanging out with certain people or doing certain things. And, Mama Sue, my mom personally. And so, just coming from that person of that caliber, there was a reputation that I had to protect and uphold because of the different background and things that my mom does in the community. So she always would say, "You're different, baby, and that's okay." Well, and so I didn't like it actually, but the thing that I have on my website is, yeah, being different. And then I think the quote I have is, "Your today has everything to do with your tomorrow." And that just kind of helps, be present and live in the moment and, just accept the whole being different, and then this day and age, like social media, everybody wants to be like the Jones. And so, yeah, that's why.
Well, I love that whole phrase. Your today has everything to do with your tomorrow. Now let's just break it down a little bit and dive a little bit deeper. If somebody is coming to you looking for life coaching, for example, walk us through the process of what they could expect, say on an initial visit, and how you would help them to be able to navigate through the whole process.
Okay, so what I do is a free consultation. And I not only work with youth, but I also work with adults as well. But the first process is like a free consultation, to find out if it's a mental illness or if it's something that can be dealt with, through coaching, because coaching is different than counseling. And so there are things that life coaches can do, and there are things that life coaches can't do, just between the laws and ethics of counseling and life coaching. And so let me say that. But if it is not within the realm of counseling, I mean, of life coaching, then that referral is, then made into that, and moving forward and with a clinical therapist. But the first step is like a consultation and trying to understand what is the root of the coaching um, business. What is it that they need? What are they looking for? Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. So if they contact you as a reputable life coach, of course, you got to figure out what's going on with them first before you're able to help them. How do you determine whether or not this is something that you can deal with, or is this something that needs medical support?
Yes. So there's a series of questions that I ask, and I pay attention to how they respond, what they say, ask them if they have any, any diagnosable mental illnesses, whether that's anxiety, depression. Um, then I then go forward into asking them, okay, what is it that we need to do? But there's a series of questions that I ask them and I pay attention to in order to understand if we can find a solution. And if we can't, like I said, I just make a referral.
Coolness. Now,
Yeah.
what is one thing, Erica, that you wish that that everybody understood about the foster care process? Because I know that there are children that are in the system that need homes, and there are people that have homes that wish they could have children, but sometimes nary the two shall meet. It seems like there's such a cloud of controversy about how to just get together and be able to offer that support, most especially in the African American
Yes,
community,
ma'am.
for our children. What is it that we could be doing to support children that are in the foster care system?
Patience, um, understanding, um, understanding that that child might not come and look like you. But parenting is, I'm not a parent, but I was raised by a parent who really made me really feel like I was welcome. And so, culturalistically speaking, yes, in our African American culture, you don't find too many people wanting to adopt a child out of a different ethnicity because of those identity barriers. But it is important to understand, hey, this child might have issues within themselves, and I have to be willing to understand and work with them. and really have peace about the things that they might experience throughout life. Just patience, understanding and consistency, love, support. Find out if there are foster agencies around in your community. Um, it's not like a piece of bread that you can just purchase off of the thing and then it be like a quick fix. It literally has to be understood. And knowing that this child is comes from a comes from a pretty rough background. So I would say just kind of understanding yourself first before you bring someone in to your home saying you want to take care of them.
Wow, that's great advice. And Erica, my concern as I think about the foster care system, there are lots of, everybody wants a baby. Everybody loves the little ones that are so cute and so darling. But what do you say to those older children to motivate them and keep them encouraged? Because some of them are almost aged out of the foster care system. But what is it that you say to them about being different to motivate and encourage them?
Um, it's okay to be different. It's okay to not look like the Jones, in the aspect of accepting who you are. There are stages of development, that, everybody goes through. And to know, it's okay to not fit in. Don't try to fit in when you're meant to stand out. I think that's a quote that I actually have heard before. Don't try to fit in when you're meant to stand out. And that's okay. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all when I was growing up. But, having a family who really loved and supported me genuinely made things a little bit more easier. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so wonderful. And I hope that you all that are watching will know how important it is for us to lend support to those children. Some of them, maybe we can't take every child into our home, but what are some things that we can do to support programs like the one you work with, Erica, in assisting children that need our help?
So there are programs within any organization or not, well, nonprofit organization or corporation. There are alternative projects that they work on, and I would say just finding out within that organization what are they doing to serve the community. Is it a mentoring program? For example, the one that I work with is we work. There's an alternative department that is specifically for mentoring. Along the lines, there are outreaches. There are other portions within organizations that specifically are driven like towards community engagement. So I would say just find out those foster care agencies, those adoption agencies, figure out what other plans or programs that they have, and then become a part of that. Volunteer, and then you'll understand why they do what they do, and then that'll kind of be able to give you a better understanding as to, what to do next. So, yeah. I,
Boo, we've been experiencing some technical difficulties, so I hope that you all are not seeing Erica frozen and And but what I want you to understand is that the message of hope is out there for all of us, and we appreciate so much having you to stop by and share with us how important it is to be different and own it. So you're owning it. What is the one message that you would like to tell everybody about what it is that you do and what you're passionate about that you'd like for us to remember about you today?
Dare to be different. And it takes time. I'm an adult, and there are times where I don't like being different. You want to, in this day and age in social media, you see people posting things, and you want to do what they're doing and act like them and do like them and smell like them. But at the end of the day, there's a DNA inside of you that intentionally separates you from that person that you're wanting to be like. And I think more peace comes within that. And so that's what I would want somebody to remember me as, like this spunky person, but yet I can be serious. Yeah, I love you, Mama Sue.
Well, I love you too. And for those of you who have tuned in, I want to take a moment just to give you all a shout out. I'm shouting out Beverly, Douglas, and Carolyn. This is my first time recognizing that you've been on here. So hey to Carolyn, who is on with us today, and Gerard and Lori and Janet is watching, and also Linda Brackens, and we have Karami is on here today. Yes, and Kiki, Shakisha is on here. Hello to you, and shout out as well to Lori and Milton and Hattie, and just to everybody. If I missed the name, just know that it was these old eyes, or maybe not being able to see everything that scrolled past. But we're so delighted that you joined us today, and we thank you for joining us for Moments with Mama Sue. Now, I want to tell you before we get ready to close that I am looking forward to seeing you all on the third Monday of the month. I'm here every first and third Monday, and connecting with you is absolutely the best part of my day. So I love you. Please like and share this, and go on over, trip on over to my YouTube channel and subscribe over there so we can get all of our likes and numbers going in the right direction. And I appreciate you, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the third Monday of February. Everybody, good night. Woo! Now that's what I call a great show. Woo! We out of here. Mums and Mamas, Mums and Mamas, Moments. Ah, now we can do it a little better than that. Mums and Mamas, Mums and Mamas, Moments. Well, all right, come on with it. Mums and Mamas, Mums and Mamas, Moments. Yeah. Oh. Mums and Mamas, Mums and Mamas, Moments. Oh, wait. Mums and Mamas, Mums and Mamas, Moments. Mums and Mamas, Mums and Mamas, never know.